Hello, I'm glad that you're joining me today for our letter of the day, letter T. And here's some ideas for the theme. T is for turnip. Well, turnips are purple, so that's how we decorated our letter T today. We just used some purple paint. If you don't have purple paint, and if you do have red and blue, you can mix those together to make your own purple paint. Red and blue makes purple. You could also use a crayon or a marker or colored pencil as well. So there you have it. That's how we decorated our T. Next, we learned how to write letter T. And letter T is easy. It's probably one of the easiest letters in the alphabet. All you need to do is make a number 1 and give it a top. Number 1 with a top. Can you try to write letter T? If you're using the handwriting sheet that you can get at my blog, then you're going to make a 1 and then trace that top line. 1 with a top. 1 with a top. 1 with a top. You can practice some more of those for homework if you'd like. Now let's make a little t. All you have to do is make another number 1, but this time give it a belt right in the middle. 1 with a belt. 1 with a belt. Skywrite if you want to practice. If you're using the handwriting paper, you're just going to make a 1 like this. Trace across the middle line this time. 1 with a belt. 1 with a belt. 1 with the belt. One more. 1 with a belt. And you can practice more than that if you want to for homework. Now it's time to talk about the sound that letter T makes. Letter T makes the sound t, t, t. Can you make that sound too? T, t, t. Letter T sounds like a ticking clock. T, 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 t. So we're going to play a little game today to practice that sound. Have you ever played charades? Well, charades is when you act out something and the other person has to guess what it is. Well, I'm going to act out an animal and see if you can beat the t, 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 ticking timer and guess what I am before the timer beeps. Okay, are you ready? Okay, here we go. On your marks, get set, go. Did you guess it? Did you say tiger? It was a tiger. Let's do it again. What does letter T say? Letter T says t, 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 like a ticking timer. On your marks, get set, go. Did you guess elephant? You were right. It was an elephant. Let's do it again. What does letter T say? T says t, 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 like a ticking timer. On your marks, get set, go. Did you guess a bunny rabbit? You were right. It was a bunny rabbit. So have some fun today. If you want to play that with your family, that would be really fun, I think. T says t, 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 like a ticking timer. Well, today I want to teach you how to write the word turnip, or at least we're going to write it together. You don't have to write it on your own paper. I'm going to do it for us right here. I'm going to show you how easy it is to read. We're going to learn a new special sound today. Take a look at this poster. Now, if you look really closely, you can see some letters in this monster's face. So look at his mouth. What letter do you see right here? That's the letter U. Good job. Now, I want you to look at his ear. What letter can you see right here? I'll trace over it on this side. That's the letter R. U and R together makes the sound like a monster. Can you make that monster sound? What does a monster say? U and R together makes the sound. Now, while we're on this page, let's just really fast look at those eyes. What letter do you see right here? That's letter E. Good job. And what letter do you see right here? His nose is what letter? Letter I. Did you know that ER and IR also make the sound like a monster? But today we're just going to be remembering UR. UR makes the sound like a monster. All right, now back to the word turnip. What sound do you hear at the beginning of turnip? Turnip. Letter T. We just learned about letter T. So let's put a letter T in the front. That's the beginning sound. Now, do you remember the two letters we just learned that make that sound? U and R. U-R make that sound. Let me show you the poster again. And parents, you can get a copy of this. This is part of Reading is for Everyone curriculum that I wrote. And so that can be found on my website or on my blog. Also, I'll put the link below for you. So there it is. U and R together makes the sound like a monster. All right, now back to our word. Well, let's say that word and try to count out the syllables and clap. Turnip. How many times did I clap? 2 times. Let's do it again. Turnip. So turnip has 2 syllables. That means I can break turnip into 2 parts. So I'm going to draw a line right here in the middle. Tur. Now, the last part of turnip is nip. So what sound or what letter do you hear at the beginning of nip? N, 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 as in no. What letter makes that sound? N, n, n. Letter N. Letter N makes the sound as in no. All right, now let's listen again. This time we're listening for the middle sound. Ip. What letter says I? Like an icky sticky lollipop. That is the letter I. It even looks a little bit like a lollipop. Now we're going to listen for the ending sound. Nip. Pa, 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 pa. Like popcorn. What letter is that? Letter P. Very good. Now we are at week 34 in this school year. So if you've been with me all the way, this probably is pretty easy for you. If it's a little bit hard, maybe you want to go back and start your year with lesson 1. I guarantee you by the end, if you do all the activities, you will be reading. Reading is easy. You just need to know the letter sounds and how to blend them together. And there are a few special sounds spread in there too. So let's put all of this together. Are you ready? Tur, ip, turnip, turnip, turnip. That was a big hard word, but you did a great job helping me write it today. Now it's time for some math. For math today, we're going to be doing a pattern sheet, and you can get the link where you can find this pattern sheet at my website along with the weekly lesson plan. A pattern is just something that repeats over and over. You just have to figure out what is repeating. And here I see a farmer and a turnip and a turnip. Farmer and a turnip and a, what's next? Turnip. Good job. The pattern is farmer, turnip, turnip. So what comes next after the turnip? The farmer again. Good job. Farmer, turnip, turnip. Farmer, turnip, turnip. Farmer, what's next? Turnip. Good job. Okay, let's do the next one. I see a dog and a mouse and another dog. Dog, mouse, dog, dog, mouse, dog. So what's next? Dog, mouse. Good job. Okay, let's do the next one. I see the farmer's wife and a cat and a boy. Wife, cat, boy. Wife, cat. What's next? Boy. Wife, cat, boy. What's next? Wife. And then cat. Wife, cat, boy. Wife, cat, boy. Wife, cat. Well, you did a great job today on our reading and our math time. Now you can take a little brain break if you'd like to. The song, and the link will be below, is called Push and Pull. Now, we're talking about turnips, so why are we singing about pushing and pulling? Because in the story I'm going to read to you soon, the farmer is pulling that turnip out of the ground. Pushing and pulling are two forces. So you can sing and do the little song that I have below on pushing and pulling, and then come on back and we're going to do art together. For art today, we're going to make a tissue paper turnip. So I have this printable, and you can get the link on the weekly lesson plan at my blog so that you can get a copy of this, but I'm going to show you right now that it's really easy to draw a turnip. So in case you don't want to get that printable or you don't have a printer, all you have to do is get some white paper and make a triangle shape at the bottom, just like that. And then you can kind of round off the top. Looks kind of like an ice cream cone. And then at the very top, you can put a little square like that, and then just some squiggly leaves on there. And there you have it. You could make your own turnip like that, or you could get a copy of this and you could cut that out and use that one as well. So now I used tissue paper. Let me show you what that is. Tissue paper is the stuff that you use to wrap presents with. This was $1 at Dollar General, so that's an option. It has 2 shades of purple. Or you can use a crayon or marker or even paint. But turnips kind of start dark at the top, and then the middle is lighter, and then the very end is white. So I just made a gradient darker to lighter on this turnip using the tissue paper. I just put glue and just cut little squares and glued that right on there. And then I glued the leaves on and just colored those green. So there you have it. It's a tissue paper turnip for our art for today. Now it's time for science. And for science, we're going to talk about those 2 forces, push and pull. First, push is a force that moves an object away, kind of like when you're throwing some water, or pushing your friend on the swing, or hitting the hockey puck, or pushing the cart at the grocery store, or pushing a door closed, or kicking the ball. You don't want the ball to come to you when you're kicking it. You want it to go away from you, and that is called a push. Now here's the other kind of force, pull. A pull is a force that moves an object close to you, like when you're picking flowers or catching a fish or opening a door or towing the car. So let's practice that. Put your hands right here at your shoulders. And now move your hands away. Push. Push is a force that moves an object away from you. Now let's practice pulling like this. Pull, pull. Do you see my hands? They're going toward me. A pull is a force that brings an object close to you. So we're going to do a little worksheet to practice the forces push and pull. Take a look at this, and if you want to pause and get a copy of this, you can, and then we can do it together, or you can just help me on the screen. So the first picture shows a little boy on a pogo stick. Is he trying to push away from the ground or toward the ground? He wants to push away from the ground. Boing, boing, boing. A pull is a force toward you. He doesn't want to go toward the ground. He wants to bounce up as high as he can away from the ground. What about the next one? Are these boys pushing or pulling? Pull, pull, pull. They're pulling. They're playing tug of war. Each of them wants the rope to come toward them, so they're pulling with all their might. Now, what about this boy? He's standing behind the car. Is he pushing it or pulling it? Does he want the car to go away from him? That's a push. Or does he want the car to come toward him? That's a pull. He definitely wants to push the car away. If he pulls it toward him, he might get squished. Let's look at the next one. I see a boy and his dog. He's pulling the dog in the wagon. So is that a push or a pull? Does he want the dog to go away from him, or does he want the dog to come with him? That's right. He is pulling it. Yep. I think I even said that. He's pulling the dog with him. This one is a little tricky, maybe. The girl and the boy are bouncing the ball. Are they pushing or pulling? Good job. The girl is pushing the ball to the boy. And then when he gets it, he's pushing it back away from himself. So we're going to put that one right here. They are pushing the ball. Well, good job in science. And now it's time for story time. And our story today is called The Enormous Turnip. What does enormous mean? Enormous means huge, big, giant. So stretch out your arms really wide and show me. Whoa, very, very big. So if this book is called The Enormous Turnip, I bet we're going to see a very big turnip in this book. Once a man came out to his garden with turnip seeds and with his hoe. He dug and he delved and he set his seeds in a row. He cared for his seeds and watered them well, and the turnip seeds began to swell. In a very few days came little green leaves. They poked and they pushed and they pointed. The man with the hoe rolled up his sleeves. He plucked out the weeds and he raked off the rubble. He didn't know there was gonna be trouble. At last, the turnips began to grow. They got bigger and bigger and bigger. And the man with the hoe said, "So, we'll have turnips for breakfast and lunch and for tea. And it's turnips for supper too, thanks to me." One of the turnips, the best of the lot, began to take over the whole of his plot. Look at that one. It grew bigger and bigger every day. It was huge. It was vast. It was enormous. The other poor turnips got out of its way. The man was baffled, but he kept on hoeing, and the enormous turnip just kept on growing. The man thought it must be time at last to pull the turnip, but it stuck fast. "Come and help heave," called the man to his wife. The man pulled the turnip, and the wife pulled the man, but the enormous turnip just wouldn't budge. "Come and help heave," called the wife to a boy. The man pulled the turnip, the wife pulled the man, the boy pulled the wife, all together. But the enormous turnip just wouldn't budge. "Come and help heave," called the boy to a girl. The man pulled the turnip, the wife pulled the man, the boy pulled the wife, the girl pulled the boy, but the enormous turnip just wouldn't budge. 1, 2, 3, pull! "Come and help heave," called the girl to a dog. So the man pulled the turnip, the wife pulled the man, the boy pulled the wife, the girl pulled the boy, the dog pulled the girl, but the enormous turnip just wouldn't budge. Woof, woof. Come and help heave, woof, woof, called the dog to a cat. The man pulled the turnip, the wife pulled the man, the boy pulled the wife, the girl pulled the boy, the dog pulled the girl, the cat pulled the dog. Meow. But the enormous turnip just wouldn't budge. Meow, come and help heave, meow, called the cat to a mouse. So the man pulled the turnip, the wife pulled the man, the boy pulled the wife, the girl pulled the boy, the dog pulled the girl, the cat pulled the dog, the mouse pulled the cat, and squeak! Up popped the enormous turnip. It shot right out with a thud and a thwack and a thump, and they all fell back with a bump and a bump and a bump. Oops, ouch, meow. Then it was turnip for breakfast and lunch and for tea, and turnip for supper, and oh dearie me, the turnip's so good that they can't get their fill, and it's just so enormous they're eating it still. The end. Well, I hope you've had some fun today with T is for turnip. Come back tomorrow for U is for underground. I'll see you then. Goodbye.